Hello, guys. How you guys doing today? God bless you, man. God bless us, man. Well, yeah, I've been blessed since then. Oh man. Well, I came on. I was going to do this story about King Agrippa, and I'm gonna explain why he was not persuaded. Because he said to Paul, "You almost persuaded me to become a Christian." So we're gonna see why King Agrippa was not persuaded, and maybe kind of see how King Agrippa is doing now, even though he's passed on. And I want to thank some of my people I follow. I don't want to get in trouble calling names, but I do. I said I was going some names I want to call on one video, and I didn't get to do it. So you guys, y'all bear with me on this. There's a lot of names. I have a lot of people that I follow, so it's hard to get all the names. But French Rat been rolling with me, man. He got some great content. Dorito Man, uh, Sterling, 1966. Arthur, Tracy from Daycare. She just don't too much content, but she's a great supporter. And then you got Arson, Arson. And then Silas, I believe. And then it's a guy that I remember. I can't think of his name. I'm sorry about that guy, but I do remember your conversation, though. He was in the, he said stuff was getting deep over there. I think he was flying a MiG-11, and it's sort of like I thought it was a jet, but it's an aircraft carrier. I think it's maybe escort. It's an aircraft escort. I went and studied that. It's an escort plane. I guess it's escorting other planes, MiG-11. So I hope he's safe over there, guy, that fly that big bird, that MiG-11. And so I remember him, but I'm sorry about your name, but I do remember the conversation we had. So that's good. Hope he's safe over there. Hope everybody's safe. You guys continue to pray for the guys over there and over there across the other part of the world. And hopefully this thing can get resolved quickly. And, we can go back, hopefully, and learn to find more peace in our lives and more peace from a world point of view. I know people probably have individual peace, but that's great. Peace is great any way it comes, but it'd be even better if we all had a collaborate, worldly, not worldly, but, this could be a godly peace in a worldly situation. I'll put it that way. A godly peace is living in this kind of, worldly situation, I guess. But we're going to get to the story of King Agrippa and see why he wasn't convinced to become a Christian. So we're going to start off, we're going to give you some background on King Agrippa, which he seemed to be a king, a Jewish king. It seemed to be, he was well diverse on Jewish laws. And it seemed to be where they was in Rome. It seemed like, and that's another thing I was thinking about, guys. It seemed like they in Rome territory, the Jews are, if I could say it like that. And it seemed like there's two laws going on at one time. Maybe call it Sharia law, I don't know, but it seems like this. Seemed like Paul doing the same as Jesus. One minute, one minute he's in the Jewish court, the next minute somebody else from the Roman court is got some viewpoints on the situation too. So, I don't know. It seems like that's what's going on. It's two laws that seem to be dwelling at the same time, in one country, which that's kind of like people, if you move from one country to another country, do you bring your law with you or do you follow the law that's the country that you're moving to? You understand? That seemed like, I don't know, maybe something's going on. But that's a little background, King Agrippa. You'll get more as I go on. And we can start off with the conversation. Let's see where we start off at the conversation here. The almost persuaded moment. Well, let's try Acts 26 over there. Well, Apostle Paul, he defends himself. He's got charges of heresy on him. sedition on him. So he got charged for these two things. That's why he's in front of King Agrippa. And so King Agrippa is looking at this situation for him. So as they talking, Paul is having a conversation, a legal conversation, with hey, how you doing, man? How's it going? Man, I got to get with my people I follow here. For tonight kid, 2056, hello. I'm not Sigma. Year 2, Super Bro. How you doing, man? How's it going? How y'all doing? Y'all put out some good content now. I know y'all doing your thing over there, along with French Ride and Silas. All them guys got great content, by the way. Great. I'm serious. You got the man. Okay. Great content, guys. It is. But back to King Agrippa, Paul's conversation with King Agrippa. So he was just explaining to him that the situation that happened to Paul, and Paul is telling King Agrippa this. If you're familiar with Acts chapter 9, that's Paul's conversion. And that's what he's talking to King Agrippa about. I was on my way to do some damage to the Christian people. And that's what he was on his way to do. I think he might have been one time Paul considered that to Stephen's, or was it Stephen's death? I believe he was there. But he was on his way to Damascus this time. But then he got interrupted. Paul did. He heard a voice. It was they said, Saul, Saul, why do you kick against the prick? This is 15 years after the resurrection of Jesus Christ. That's why Paul is known as an apostle that's due out of season, because he wasn't with the regular apostles during the time he met Jesus after Jesus resurrected 15 years later, from what the timeline seems to be saying. 15 years Jesus sitting on the throne in heaven, residing with Papa, and then all of a sudden he have a conversation with Paul. And talking about that New Testament miracles and Old Testament stuff. And miracles happen old, new, wherever. And that's what I would call that a miracle. Paul called that a miracle. Some people think miracles don't happen. This happened in the Old Testament. Well, this was New Testament. Miracles happening. Supernatural things going on. That's what people seem to have a problem with in the New Testament days, that God don't do too many supernatural things. Which is the same day to God. I think we just a little ignorant on our days. We should go by God's days and his timeline and not ours. You see what I'm saying? But that was the conversation Paul was having with King Agrippa. He was telling him he heard a voice. So I guess King Agrippa thought, hey, he heard a voice from nowhere. And you got to listen to what's going on. He's telling King Agrippa about an invisible voice. And also he's telling King Agrippa about Jesus and the law and stuff. Not directly, but King Agrippa is very well versed in Jewish laws. He knows he knows the law. And I think that's why Paul picked to choose his argument, because he was leaning on King Agrippa's knowledge. So Paul went with the conversation. And it was a legal conversation, because Paul is trying to defend himself of things, So Paul argued a message, a risen Christ alignment. He said, Paul said, this message of mine, I'm telling you, King Agrippa, about when I met Jesus over there in Acts 9, heard a voice, King Agrippa, and man, all my men fell to the ground. And I heard something say, Saul, Saul, why do you kick? Now he's telling King Agrippa this, and first of all, if that's me, and if I was King Agrippa, I'm like, first of all, man, you heard a voice. Wouldn't that what you would have been saying? A voice from nowhere, from out of the, from this nowhere, and they knock you down, and you was blind 3 days. Well, I wouldn't be too angry at King Agrippa if he didn't think Paul they went crazy, because that seemed like it's something. When God do things that do seem a little odd to people sometimes, and you do get labeled, because God's stuff, his power is nothing like what to work and comprehend sometimes, so they got to put a label on it. And sometimes church people do too, because they still evolving or still trying to come into full understanding the power of God, you understand? And some of us have it. We know the power of God and what God can do, so it's kind of natural to us It's not surprising to us because we believe in what God can do. We don't believe God is a mere man. We believe God is a spiritual being, and they can do a lot of miraculous supernatural things from what the book have said that you read in the Old Testament, coming on up to the New Testament. You see some abnormal, what we would call abnormal, supernatural things that would just blow you out the mind or blow you out the water, But that was the conversation that King Agrippa, Paul was having with King Agrippa, you understand? That was the conversation right there. Now we're going to get on to the almost persuaded. Gave you a little background of the conversation King Agrippa is having with Paul, or Paul is having with King Agrippa. So during the defense, Paul shifted from a legal argument to a direct spiritual appeal. That's why I said it like I said it, because it was a legal argument. Paul trying to defend himself. Now Paul going more personal with King Agrippa, because they both, as well versed in Jewish law. Paul is a smart man himself, you feel what I'm saying? So they going, now Paul is going to appeal to King Agrippa's law side, spiritual side, his spiritual side. He asking King Agrippa if he believed the prophets, because he said, I'll line right up with the prophets if you believe the prophets. And as we say, King Agrippa and Paul noticed is well versed in the scrolls, if you will, or stuff. So he asked King Agrippa this. So King Agrippa's had a lot of things that was blocking him from becoming a Christian. And he had told Paul, we'll just say this, that you had almost persuaded me to become a Christian. But King Agrippa had several things that was to where if you do this move and become a Christian, we already know it's going to be some persecution, even in today's time, because you're separating yourself from the world. And when you separate yourself from the world, from what the Bible says, you will be persecuted. You will go through some things. If you're doing it the way, if God is leading you, you will go through some things. This is not a favorable message. Most time when people bring truth to people, most of the time what people would do when they hear truth, and it's personal truth or whole truth, they get angry. Or they don't want to hear it. And most people, I didn't say all people, some people can handle truth and they can look at themselves and say, oh yeah, I'm guilty and I need some help, and Papa, will you help me? But some people got too much pride and ego, and they can't seem to realize what truth is when truth smack them on the face or hit them in the face. Because God is going to tell you the truth through his word, and you have to line up with God's word to see if your character or your spirit, that's the best you can do right now until God chooses you. We disobedient servants. When God chooses us, then he will lead us. He said, you didn't choose me, I chose you. I knew you before you was a baby in your mother's womb. You understand? This is what God is saying, But back to King Agrippa, you almost persuaded to become a Christian. And so the barriers King Agrippa had it where he could not become a Christian because he had an inappropriate relationship with his sister Bernice. There seemed to have been a little incest going on in that situation. So, that kind of conflict with the law. You know what I'm saying? These things are not, these things cannot be in you. This is an inappropriate relationship, King Agrippa. So that was one reason why he couldn't do it, as he could not be persuaded. He had an inappropriate relationship with his sister. And and also connecting with somebody, he didn't want to jeopardize his good standing with Romans too. He was in good standing with Rome. That's why I say it was two laws. It seemed like, Jew law, Roman law. So he was in Rome. And he was in good standing with Rome. And also he was in good standing with the Jewish subject. So sometimes when you think about doing some different things, you just want to upset what you already got because you're comfortable there. That's what it seemed to be with King Agrippa. He's comfortable, even though he know Paul's telling the truth and this thing of this nature, but he's comfortable. And to be sure, don't let comfortability get you in trouble. because he's comfortable where he's at. So he's not looking at, he's thinking about it though. We will give him credit for that. He said, you almost persuaded me. And so that was a social status was a problem for King Agrippa, because becoming a Christian back in that time was seen as a low status, becoming a Christian, because they was persecuted all the time. There was a low status to be a Christian during that time. That's what Paul then was doing before he got converted. Christians was being persecuted. Low status to be a Christian during that time. You're very low. You look low in the world Satan created. Your status look real low. People's status look real low when they was Christians. You understand? I want to emphasize that. Now, the intellectual skepticism is what it says. Now, Festus, he's a Roman governor. He sat alone with King Agrippa, observing the conversation. He's listening. Then we hear he comes in. Festus interrupts Paul. And when he interrupted Paul, he called Paul mad. Man, you crazy. What are you talking about? I guess he must have heard this story. Shut back Acts chapter 9. You heard a voice? What? You're crazy, man. And so he let Paul know that. Festus let Paul know. And of course, this is a public statement. He didn't personally call Paul crazy, because King Agrippa's there and whoever else is there listening. So what this does to Paul, it deflates Paul's argument. You see, it deflates his argument and it also let King Agrippa off the hook. So, as far as you can't get interrupted in life when you're trying to make good decisions. You need to get by yourself, take some time. That seemed like what King Agrippa may have done, because King Festus coming in, you were mad. And they got influence on one another. Sometimes influence either make you not make the right decision, or sometimes influence and bad influence will help you make a bad decision. A bad decision. That's what bad influence does. You see what I'm saying? And I think that's what it was here with King Festus. And that's another. He done heard a conversation, no facts or nothing. I mean, no more than his personal clock inside himself facts. And this called the story a ludicrous, Paul. You did not hear a voice. You did not fall. Because I'm assuming King Festus was there listening when he told King Agrippa the story, which we covered that. So that was something that kind of hurt Paul. You got prestigious people. These are distinguished people. People of honor that knows the law, that's running the country, you understand. This is what Paul is up against. Smart people, you understand. It appears to be smart people. But running the country. So that was another thing. That was a moral hesitation. We go to that one. So we did say that. I did say it. Okay, yeah. So what Festus did, I'll read it though. Festus created a hostile environment for a serious religious shift. So when Festus did that and interrupted Paul and called him mad, what he did, that's what it says here, he caused what seemed to be somewhat of a, strong conversation. I ain't saying it was whatever, but when Festus interrupted the conversation, he caused a hostile environment. Look at the word, you mad. Now, I don't guess no one got to fight, but it was just hostile can be within inside yourself sometimes, even before physical stuff start happening, Boston, whatever you do, this, that, whatever, boom, 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 boom. Sometimes the hostility is already implanted inside us, or one person's, you understand? That's why all it takes is a little ignite. And there it is, it's off, you up and running. Somebody done set the fire, ignited you, because the hostility was already in you, you feel what I'm saying? From whatever situation, previous situation, I don't know, you're trying to protect yourself, you feel threatened, whatever the case, people may feel hostility sometimes rise up in us, and gets in our way too. But that's what happened with Paul. Now, also I think I talked about the moral hesitation of, that's what it says here, moral hesitation, Agrippa lifestyle. What kind of lifestyle did he have? Well, we already talked about he had a relationship with his sister, incest. Bernice, his sister's name, it seemed to be inappropriate. So now I'm not even seeing why Paul is even talking to him. It seems like people that's got sin, like sin in their lives, then they get to judge other people who they think that have uh, some type of issue or problem. Now this guy got a situation going on, sleeping with his sister. Now he's a king, and now he got the right or the some say so in somebody else's life. Now, who's going to say something about what you have, King Agrippa, going on in your life? You understand? How you judging? That's why I said, judge ye not, lest you be judged. And I wonder how King Agrippa is doing today. Hopefully he made it. Hopefully somebody got to him. You understand? I don't know. But then guess what? It still continue on. He's not dead. He passed on, just like us. You know, you reap what you sow. You understand? And that's just real. And we won't know that till we die. Then we come back, you know what I'm saying? We won't know that till we die. You can't make decisions dead. You got to make decisions while you're alive. You got to make your calling and looking sure with Papa or with the Heavenly Father, you know, while you're alive, you know. Now, you can be dead alive, too, so hopefully God will quicken you and make your spirit alive. You know, some people are dead to spiritual stuff because they're so consumed with the world, you understand? They get this world just feed them. So they ignore God, you know, they don't, sometimes they pick God up when they need God, then they put God back on the shelf when they need to put God back on the shelf. And God is well aware of this, and he still loves you. You know what I'm saying? That's just how we do God sometimes, you feel what I'm saying? Excuse me. And I did say now King Agrippa has passed on. I did put that just a little side note for myself, but I will share my side note. King Agrippa has passed on. That's just obvious. He's not here. Now, was it worth it? Because we get the chance to look at his life, and maybe somebody look at our life, and we decide not to be persuaded. You know, or as we get to read about King Agrippa because he's passed on. What do you think, guys? Was it worth it? Was it worth what he did? Because that stuff what he had going on, it was temporal. Where he at now is eternity. That's the real life. All our life here now is temporal. Wherever your life got going, you're comfortable, you're conservative with it, it's going to last. It's just a vapor. It's just a vapor. It's gone just like that. From heavenly language conversation. Your life is nothing but a vapor. You understand? Our lives is nothing but a vapor. So would it be worth it, King Agrippa? Was it worth it? I guess it felt good at the time. You probably lived a good 20, 30 more years in an inappropriate relationship. This is just me assuming. It doesn't say when a relationship with his sister ended. You understand? But he had a relationship with his sister. And he's judging Paul. I gotta feel some kind of way about that because you feel like sometimes people got sins in their lives and they can also judge your lives. You know what I'm saying? They got sins in their life, then look at you with your sins in your life, then I guess they feel better about themselves, you know what I'm saying? Because Paul got a situation here, you understand? And King Agrippa, I guess people can also be blind to sin. You know, sometimes sin just become normal, you know, it's just a normal thing. I've accepted it, people around me accept it, so we'll just continue on just sinning. What it appears to see that King Agrippa, I'm on King Agrippa, because that's what the story painted him as. A king, not such a good king, because first of all, he had an inappropriate relationship with his sister. I don't know why we would want someone to be making decisions in our lives with that type of situation going on in his life, you understand? So, what happened at the end? We're going to sum it up here. I guess we done about summed it up. This is the last part I'm going to read here. And I get these off a thing. But I asked the right questions. You have to ask the right questions for what you ask for. And I asked the question for my knowledge base. And I have a lot of knowledge base resources that I use to be able to format my questions and get a lesson. But also you have to pour yourself into the lesson. You understand? You have to know things too to work with it, the lesson. Well, you don't have to know things, but that's how I do it, you know, because it's a good thing, like the president's reading a card or something, blah, 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 you know. But see, it goes by what you ask, so you're still in control, you understand? Because some preachers let people do their lessons for them. I don't know how they get the feel of the lesson, but some people that's the way preachers do. I guess they too busy doing other things. I don't know. And that's just a side note. But King Agrippa declared that Paul was innocent. He said Paul was innocent. And he knew Paul had a conversation for him, and he kind of believed everything Paul said. That's why he said Paul was innocent. So we know that he was persuaded, but he wasn't persuaded to where he can become a Christian. And so what he chose to do after he saw Paul was innocent, because you notice when I said that King Festus, well, I don't know if you would notice or not, but when King Festus interrupted Paul as he was talking to King Agrippa. So some people just rude. You're talking to somebody, they want to interrupt you. I didn't hear him say excuse me or pardon me. They didn't write that down. So that's what you do sometimes if you got to just get in on a conversation. You need something right away, and two people is conversing. The most appropriate thing to do, and a knobby style thing to do, with some class. Excuse me, pardon me. And when two people are talking, you understand? When two people are having conversation, oh, excuse me for a minute, God, hey, listen, blah, 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 blah. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you guys' conversation. That's being polite, courtesy, You feel what I'm saying? Yuri, hey, how you doing, Yuri Martinez? Oh, yeah, Yuri Martinez in Brazil, in Brazil, baby. Yuri Martinez in Brazil, how you doing, Yuri? Everything good over there? Man, I'd love to get to Brazil. I love it. I see it on TV. It's a wild country over there. It seems like, when I mean that, I mean in a nice way. You guys have fun over there, see. And Traxley, at Traxin, Trxin, Traxin, 2K3. Old, huh? Old, huh? He said old, huh? Well, I don't know what that is, Traxin, but we're going to give him a shout out. Traxin, 2K3. Hey, that's a top fan too. I might look him. Man, y'all know he got some good contact. I might look him up too. Traction. That's King. I can learn how to do my little things. So I'm learning, guys. And I said my top fan. Did I say that guy's my top fan? I'm his top fan. We each other's top fan. I got to catch myself on them things. We support one another. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm his top fan. I'm all my subscribers' top fans. I'm trying to get them all in. I said, I got some good stuff for you guys. We try to do some stuff, I know some stuff, about some things that may help you, I don't know. I told you, not that I told you, I was just trying to explain to you, Ko-Fi, Kofi. That's my page. That's my link to my little personal platform. I put more information over there as far as uh, view counts and algorithm and reaches and engagements and your content and how this thing pushes the machine, have a test run, and I could go on. But it's still over there in KOFI. That's my little platform. Just to try to share more with my subscribers, to give them more. Hopefully, if they got their own thing, that's good, and we're supporting with their own thing. But it's just a little information if they want to check it out and see this and see that, this and that. I don't even think I got the membership thing set up yet where it's no money, none of this. It's just, information, it's free. You sign up, it's not where you have to, I don't have that even on, from a subscription point of view. We still young, we still growing, so we'll grow together, you see what I'm saying? We all will grow together from now, And that'll come when it comes, if it even comes, you see what I'm saying? I don't know. But, so the thing of it was that the summary of King Agrippa, what he did say to Paul, I did a little bit of it. Paul was innocent of crime, and at the end, King Agrippa chose to remain a spectator and not a believer. He chose to remain a spectator and not a believer. So I hope it's not none of us that are spectators in this world today. Hopefully we become believers. Let's see, am I saying that right? Yeah. Hopefully we become believers of the Almighty, the Most High. And then hopefully he'll have favor on us. And I'm sure he will, because that's what he wants to do. He do not want his children to be lost, you understand? He just won't have it. He don't want that. But if you want that, that's what, I mean, we all got our own choices here to make. We all adults here. You make your own choices. Like I said, I often said, I just like to come and thought provoke you, and let you put some things on your mind, if it's possible, if I can do that. And maybe you can put some things on my mind, you see. I like thought provoking. I like a little criticism. I like a little this. I don't like too much of agree. It's so good when people agree, but sometimes it's good when people do not agree. So that way, you got to have. Well, we're supposed to live in a world of agreement all the time. That's not real. We gonna live in a world where everybody just agree with each other every day. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's like we just all agree. We just all. I guess it would be a beautiful world. Probably be a boring world too, though, because there's so many different ideas and different situations that people will embrace, and sometimes they won't embrace. Sometimes you just have to. You just keep pushing in what you believe in. And what you believe in, if it's good and wholesome, as I always believe, God will fuel what you believe in. He will put some gas to what you believe in, and He will let that thing take off for you. You feel what I'm saying? That's what God does. That's what He does. You understand? So that's the end of it, guys. Hopefully you got a good understanding. Simon was King Agrippa. He was an incest guy. He had improper relationships. He was heard the story of Paul and Paul talking this and about his conversion and stuff. Because, King Agrippa was almost persuaded, but as we went on, he had too much going on, man. He just could not get persuaded, but there's one thing I do like about King Agrippa. He told the truth, and he can tell he was listening. Because he used the word, you almost persuaded me. I don't know what would have happened if King Festus had a stayed out the conversation, but he's a king. I guess he can just interrupt and just be impolite and just do whatever he wants to. He can just butt in and do whatever, whenever, That's them kings. But Jesus, that king, he does not have those qualities. He don't have those characters. He will say, excuse me, may I help you? Are you guys having a conversation? This is the character of Jesus, and for they are perfect gentlemen, Nabi style. Love and encouraging people. They're real respectable to people. They're respectable to one another. Respectable to let you live your life as you live your life. And understand you have consequences. We all understand that for every action there is a reaction. You understand? That's just what it is, guys. Now, I feel something, yeah. I feel it coming on. But you are a spiritual man, and you're stronger than a falling whatever. You're strong against a lot of things in your life, and you're stronger than a lot of things outside your life because you're spiritual being, and that's what you need to be in a world of chaos. You need to have be led by a spirit. Well, it's in you, and we are from heaven. We are from heaven. All good things come from heaven. God said He knew, our Heavenly Father said He knew you before you was a what? Baby in your mother's womb. He know every hair on your head, every hair, every strand of hair on your head. You try counting that and see what happened to you. You understand? So God is good, man. He's a Heavenly Father is good. He just wants you to. He's trying to protect us from some things that's unseen stuff, guys. You understand? We're not that evil all by ourselves, okay? I would hope not. I wouldn't think we are. It's something influencing us. And yes, we did get invaded. When we read the Bible in Revelation, it's not talking about people way, 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 way over there. The Revelation is not talking about people way, way, way from another planet. Revelation is talking about us. I know it's an old story. I know it's a long time. I know people get separated from the story. The story loses juice. When it's a long, long, long time ago. So you're comfortable with the invasion. You're comfortable with all the problems on Earth. That's what happened after the invasion. Earth was not made for Satan or the adversary. His home was heaven. That's what Satan's home. He was already there. God said he made earth for man. He told man to be fruitful and multiply. You understand? And then something got kicked out and interrupted the situation. And you know what the something is that got kicked out of heaven. I did some videos on that where God is tossing Satan out of heaven. I did a video on that. you know. So, and no one knows the time or an hour. We just here to love and encourage one another. That's hopefully we can start doing more of that. And maybe it always is a fresh aroma to God's know when his creation know how to somebody say, oh, unclean sex. Oh, uncleanse the next times 8462. He said we can know the season. Well, I ain't gonna argue with you. Cause I know God, he got some people, man, he probably have personal conversation with. If he let some people know something, some people can't know everything because some people can't handle it. You know what I mean? I think that was a famous thing in one of those Tom Cruise movies. Was that Tom Cruise? Was he in court or something? It ain't that he didn't want to tell the truth. He said, you can't handle the truth. I can tell you the truth, you can't handle it. That's one of the movies I think Tom Cruise did. You can't handle the truth. It ain't that I don't want to tell you the truth, you can't handle it. That's what he was saying in the movie, but I'm not saying that. But yeah, I can understand what you're saying there, God. I don't know the time. I'll just speak for myself. I do not know the time. I don't know if I would want to know the time. All thing I just need to know is just do like them virgins. Just be ready. Just be ready. I don't know if I need to know the time or not. What am I do? I need to do what I'm doing now. I don't know what I need to know about the time. But if you can know the time, that's good. People know the time. And I'm not saying that he don't know, because people, God can tell people things for certain reasons. Because if he know the time, then evidently God got a purpose for him, what he need to do with that time that he know about. See, God gives us all purpose. We like one body, people. And I'm sort of done summed it up with Paul and the almost persuaded situation. So we just kind of summed that up. I'm just talking with the people I follow. But he comes back. He says, I don't know the time, but I can tell it's close. Well, you know what? A lot of people say that. A lot of people say that, man. I would incline to agree with you. It's saying to be close. But the only thing I have a problem with, I don't have a problem with, it says in the last days. Now, the last days started when Jesus did what he did, because we had the prophets, and man couldn't get it right. I mean, it was a few guys like Noah and them, they got it right. 8 was saved. But whole God was just trying to get everybody. But he's kept them guys there so he can keep moving faith down the line, because God needs faith to work with, So I don't know the time, but I think the last days, Jesus, if we don't get it right this time, ain't no more people coming. If Jesus got a sister, she's not coming. Ain't nobody else coming. God said, this is my son who I'm well pleased. Now, his blood is enough. So that's why I consider the last days right there, because there won't be nobody else coming. You understand? Won't nobody be coming to try to give us an uplift or try to say, put a bridge back to God if we break this bridge again. If we done built this bridge once through Jesus' blood, if the bridge is broke again, it won't be no more Savior come. Jesus is the one and only. God said I'm well pleased with my son. It won't be nobody else. So that's how I look at the last days. So that happened back when that happened. That was on the Gethsemane, Old Testament, New Testament. Now we in the last days, Now also, I think also Mr. Uncleanse the next, the last days, you got to keep in mind 1,000 years is like one day to God. So I'm not good on I think he just told me, well, not told me, but everybody who understands that's just enough for us to understand what a day is to God. I believe it's more, but just relating that one day is 1,000 years to knock us off the. What you mean, God? One day's 1,000 years to you? That was, wow, that's just blow your mind. He could have said one day is like a million years is like a one day to him. He lived forever. That really would just blow us out the water. You know what I'm saying? So what is a one day like to God? You understand? What is one day like to God? And we need to do like the virgins Okay. I got okay, Mr. Unclean. I was about to say that. Yeah, see, we on the same page. Mr. I'm gonna be sure I'm saying his name. I like this guy. He's get your viewpoints out and you say what's on your mind. I like people like that, man. At cleanse, uncleanse next. I'm gonna say, wait a minute. Okay, I'm seeing it now. Uncle Snack. Hey, Uncle Snack 8462. Is that right, Uncle Snacks? Am I getting close now? Okay. I like this guy, man. Me and him communicate, man. I like him. Uncle Snacks. I had to take my time. I had to sometimes I'm looking and I got it, man. Okay. All right, I'm gonna put you down too. I was like my subscribers down here. Well, I'm gonna write this. I'll follow you, so I'm gonna write this down here. Uncle Snacks. I'm sorry, guys. I got to keep up with my people that I follow. I had to write it off. All right, man. Thanks a lot, bro. Thanks a lot. I like him, man. That's Uncle Snacks. Okay, Uncle Snacks. And guys, we try to get together with I guess I'm supposed to say I can add upload and subscribers know what I mean. You know, this, that, whatever, collaborate, whatever, you know, mix, you know, engagements and any kind of interaction is good. You know, engagement. I'm trying to say a little something here, guys. Hope you get your ears open. And I know some of you guys know that I know, but there's a few guys that don't know. Okay. So, you know, engagements and reach is better than views. Better than views. Engagement when people's interacting with, and also 30 seconds count as a view. That's why you get the little mark view. 30, it won't count unless if it's 2 seconds. It's called a swipe away. Swipe away. It don't count. They got what they call it, box where they go in, they redo everything, recount and see what the real count is and see what the bad count is. You understand? But that's enough information on that, guys. Like I said, I got a lot of information on Ko-Fi. And I'm seriously just to help one another. You know, I'm comfortable in life. Now I'm comfortable in life. Thank God, man. And hey, it's just a praise story. Guys, I'm going to get off here. I'll get to rambling. I like Mr. Uncle Snacks, man. Me and him had something going. I just didn't want to get off here, you know, because we talking and conversating. And God bless you guys, man. Y'all guys have a good day, man. A good evening. Well, let me see. What's this? Tomorrow is Wednesday. My birthday tomorrow, April the 15th. I was a tax baby. That's my dad always said, you're born on tax day. He was in the Air Force. He got 2 checks. And my brother was born July 1st on my daddy's payday. And also, I was born April the 15th on his payday. So he had money when we were both born. He had some money. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Excuse me, guys. But God bless you guys. I'm going to get off here, man, and look forward to the day. Hopefully you guys have a good day, as I said, you know, and enjoy your life. Be blessed. You know, relax, you know. Let's don't worry about too much about this and that. Let's just worry about let's don't even worry at all. But let's just stay focused on what we need to stay focused on. And that's loving and encouraging each other and, you know, being there if you can for people. I know you can't be there for everybody, you know what I'm saying? But it's the intent of your heart. Even if you can't be there for everybody, God recognizes the effort in your heart where you want to be there. And that's going to count more than somebody who was there but really didn't want to be there. You feel what I'm saying? Bye for now, guys. Y'all take care. God bless you.